Well, hello friends and welcome back to my channel. I'm Renee. Today I'm going to take you along with me and we're going to make all my Thanksgiving breads that I make. You can make these ahead. You can even make these a month ahead if you want to, and they can freeze. They freeze beautifully. We all know that. But I'm going to make all the goodie breads that I make for Thanksgiving. So we're going to do our Amish white bread, which my family loves that. And I'm going to double that batch because we're going to take the other half of that batch and we're going to make some beautiful monkey bread. And we are going to put it in the bundt pan and, you know, the whole shebang, so it's the whole shebang so that it looks beautiful on your bread table. We're also going to do a delicious cranberry bread. We're going to do a pumpkin nut bread, and we're going to do some 30-minute dinner rolls. So come with me, friends. We got some work to do, and we don't have much time to do this in. And I'm telling you, you try these recipes, your bread table will look beautiful and so inviting on Thanksgiving or even Christmas. So let's start with our 30-minute dinner rolls. We're going to do our yeast bread first. So, you know, we can put our other together to manage our time, you know, put our others together while it's rising. I'm going to double my batch. I will put for single batch in my description box. So please don't pay attention to how much I'm putting in. I'm using my Big Daddy mixer because I got a lot to do. Okay, I've got to get warm water. Okay, I've got my warm water. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put my yeast in. And I'm going to use just a little more than a tablespoon. You can do a double batch. Just double the batch. Just double the recipe that I put in the description box and it'll be good. My sugar and my 2 cups of warm water. Now, many of you would just continue right along and put all the rest of your stuff in there, but I always do this to make sure that my yeast is alive. I don't want to put all my stuff in there and then find out I've killed my yeast, because then you have to serve fry bread for your Thanksgiving dinner. Because you don't want to throw it out. And that'll just take a minute, friends. Okay, friends, now that we know our yeast is alive, we can continue on. So we're going to do, I'm going to go right down my list here. I'm going to do 1 beaten egg. Put that right in there. Okay. I'm doubling this, so I need 2 eggs beaten up. All right, I'm going to put my butter in here. And I'm going to do 1/3 cup of my vegetable oil in here. I'm going to leave that sit there. I'll be using that again. All right. We got to make sure I got everything. I don't want to forget nothing. That would be horrible. So I got my water, my oil, my sugar, my yeast, my eggs, my butter. I just need my salt and my flour. So here we go. This is 3 to 4 cups of flour. So I'm going to start with like 6 cups of flour. And as you're mixing it, you can always add more. Okay, I can't talk and count. There's my 6 cups. And I'll most likely need to add more, but that is all right. Okay, now I'm gonna do my 1 teaspoon for a double batch of salt. Okay, this is all ready to go into the mixer. I've got my dough hook. Make sure if you're kneading this by yourself, just mix it up and start kneading it. Once it's mixed, you're gonna wanna knead it for 5 minutes. In my mixer, same thing. Once this is all incorporated, I'm gonna let my mixer go for 5 minutes and I'll see you back here. Okay, friends, this is all done and mixed up and beautiful. So, I have my big old dough hook. All right, so first thing, I'm gonna put a little bit of flour down on my board. I'm gonna get this dough out of here. It's just a little bit on the sticky side, and that's all right. We can still work with it. Okay. That's going over there because we're just going to use that again for our white bread. All right. So we're just going to give this a little bit of a knead. Get this in a nice ball. Okay, so now I'm going to divide this dough. I need to make about 36 rolls out of mine. So we're going to divide each one into 18. Well, I got 16, so that's good. There we go. Okay, I've got 16. I'm going to have a little bit bigger rolls, and that's all right. But what I do with these is I just put them down to the bottom, pinch them off a little bit, and then I just twirl them. See, just twirl them like so. And the bottom, and you got a nice little roll there. Okay, that's all I do. So I'm going to get these all rolled up. When I get enough room, I'll be able to do 2 at a time. But for right now, I'm just going to do 1 at a time. So when I get these all rolled up, I'll show you how it looks. Okay, friends, there's your beautiful rolls. I've got 32 of them out of a double batch. They're nice size. They'll be a little bit bigger because they say you could get 36 out of a double batch. But anyway, you could literally take these, wrap them in plastic wrap, flash freeze them in your freezer just the way they are, and then take them out Thanksgiving morning or even the night before and bake them up. Let them thaw, rise, and then bake them off. I don't have the time for that. I don't have time to bake Thanksgiving morning because my oven's going to be turkey and ham. So we're just gonna bake these off today. I'm gonna let them cool and then I'll bag them up and freeze them. So I'm gonna turn my oven on. It's gonna go on 350. I'm gonna cover these up with the tea towel. I'm going to set these in on my dining room table because I need my space here. And they're going to rise for about 10-20 minutes. Okay, so while those are rising, we're going to do our Amish white bread. And I'm going to double that because remember I said we're going to do 2 loaves of bread and we're also going to do monkey bread. So let's get busy with that. Okay. Normally I use water in this recipe, but because I'm making monkey bread with half of it, it just makes a very tender bread. I'm using milk, and I've got it half and half, so it's not complete full stout milk. I want to put this in there first. I need my yeast. I will also put the recipe for this, for single recipe, in the description box. A single recipe makes 2 loaves. So, and there goes my sugar. I need just a little more. All right, now we'll go ahead and we'll pour this in here because, again, I'm going to wait to make sure that blooms. So that'll take just about 5 minutes, and then we'll know for sure our yeast is good. Okay, friends, so now that we know our yeast is alive and doing well, feeding on that sugar, we're going to put our oil in here. And please don't pay attention to how much I put in because I am doubling this. I'm going to put all my flour in there. This is going to take me a minute. You're going to put 6 cups of flour in a single batch. I'm going to skip ahead though. Okay, I got my 12 cups in there. Now, I'm going to put this in my pantry in my big mixer. I'm going to let this incorporate. Once I get this all incorporated in a mixer, then you're going to want to let it knead for about 10 minutes. And if you knead it by hand, you're still going to want to knead it for about 10 minutes. So I'll see you back here in a minute. Okay, friends. I got my nice bowl here all oiled up. This turned out beautiful. I didn't have to add any more flour either. It was perfect. All right. That's going to come right out of there. Beautiful. That's what I like, when it leaves a bowl nice and clean. And my cutting board is all over my table, so it's not secured down, so I'm just going to move it. All I'm doing with this is I'm rolling it into a nice ball. This is beautiful dough. Okay? I'm going to put it in my oiled bowl, and yes, it'll rise over the top. We're going to put a top on it. I'm going to set it out on my dining room table in the sun and let this rise for at least an hour to an hour and a half. Okay, friends, my oven is ready, and while that's rising, we're going to get these in the oven. But I'm just going to give them a quick brush with some milk, okay? Okay, friends, these are going to go in the oven, 350 degrees, for about 10 to 12 minutes. And I'm telling you, these are going to be the easiest yeasted dinner rolls you've ever made. Okay, friends, We got our dinner rolls out of the oven. They're cooling. Our bread is still rising out on the dining room table. So we're going to take this time and we're going to work on our quick breads. And this is really an easy recipe. We're going to start this. And we're going to need a half a cup of oil. I'm going to put all my liquid ingredients in, get it mixed up, and then I'll add the dry. Okay? Sugar. I'm going to need 1 cup of sugar. Absolutely, and that's perfect. Used up all my sugar. We're going to put in a teaspoon of vanilla. Beautiful. This is going to be so good. We're going to do 2 eggs. And then we're going to get this mixed up. Okay. All right. So to that, we're going to add 3/4 cup of milk. And when I do my baking, I use evaporated milk. And I just dilute it, 1-to-1 ratio, and then it works good. It's delicious in your bake stuff. And it's so much nicer. I like it a lot better. Okay, so now with that, let me move this aside. We're going to do 1.5 cups of flour. There we go. Okay. Spread that around. We're going to do it on my teaspoon. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of our baking powder. I don't want all them chunks in there, so. Okay, we got that. We're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We got our milk in there, so we're going to get this mixed up, and then we can put our cranberries and our pecans in there. Because I'm going to put pecans in mine. Beautiful, look at that. Okay, with our pecans, let me set this stuff aside over here. Get it out of my way. Okay, I'm going to put, well, I'm using my dried cranberries, which I love to use for that. So we got a bunch of them in there, probably a good cup's worth. Now we're going to chop up these pecans and put these in there. And we're just going to give them a nice rough chop. Okay. All right, perfect. Okay, now we're going to mix this around. This is going to be wonderful. There we go. We got it out of there. All right, so what I do with my pans to make this easy to get out, and I don't usually spray. I've got wood floors, so I don't usually spray my pans over here, but I just want to show you. I spray it real good. I take my pre-cut parchment paper and I cut it in half one more time. And then when you take this bread out of here, it comes out so much easier. Okay? All right, we're going to go ahead and pour this all in here. And this makes one loaf. You could double it if you want. I'm only doing one loaf. All right, there we have it. This is going to sit on the stove until I get the pumpkin bread, until we get our pumpkin bread done, because I'll put those both in the oven at the same time. They both take an hour. Okay, friends, we're ready to do our pumpkin bread. This stuff is fabulous, I'm telling you. Okay, first off, we're going to start off with 1 can of pumpkin puree. Okay, and to that we're going to do 1 1/4 cups of brown sugar. I'm going to borrow my flour one. Okay, and we're going to do a regular cup of sugar. Okay. Okay, to that we're going to do 1 cup of vegetable oil. I can't use it. We'll put our milk in here. This is buttermilk. And then we're going to do 1 cup of vegetable oil. Okay. This is so easy to make. We're going to do 3 eggs. My chickens quit laying too. You guys have chickens. Did they start molting and quit laying eggs? I might get 3 eggs every few days, but they're pretty much on recess. And I just let them take their vacation. All right, there goes our 3 eggs. We're going to put our buttermilk in there. We are going to do our teaspoon of vanilla. And now we're going to mix that up. You can use a cake mixer, you know, a hand mixer on this if you so choose. I just find it's just as easy to just mix it all up by hand. Okay. We're going to put in our 3 cups of flour. All right, there we go. 3 cups of flour. We're going to do 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder. And we're going to do 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Seems like a lot of ingredients, but it's so easy to whip this together. Okay. Then we're going to do 1 teaspoon of salt. All right. Now, we're just going to mix this all together. And it's going to make a beautiful batter. This one will do 2 loaves. I just realized that. I thought, man, that's a lot of batter for one pan. Yes, this one will do 2 loaves. The cranberry bread only does 1, that recipe. This recipe will do 2, which means I have to get another pan ready because I didn't think of that. But you want to mix this real good. What that means, Mr. Wayne will tear into this before Thanksgiving. That's all right. I only need 1 loaf on my bread table. All right, look at that. Beautiful. Okay, now with that, I am going to put chocolate chips and pecans. My grandkids love pecans. I only need about 3/4 cups chocolate chips and the same with pecans. So we're going to chop these up. What's left there. All right, there we go. There's our pecans. And our chocolate chips. And we're just going to fold that all in real nice. I am so glad I caught this beforehand. I forgot the most important. The most important of all, and I can mix it in there now, is my pumpkin pie spice. I got to put a tablespoon in there, so I'm using 3 teaspoons. We'll remix this. That would have been some tasteless pumpkin bread. Goodness sakes. I'm glad I caught it, though. I mean, you know, I'm not perfect. All right. And I got both pans put together. And that is a good idea. When you get all your stuff put together, your dough, whatever it is you're making, skim back through your recipe and just double check and make sure you put everything in there. All right, I'm going to dump half of this if I can. We'll go this way. We'll divide this evenly between both of these. Okay, and this one will get the rest. And I like to scrape my bowl. I don't want to leave any of that beautiful dough behind. Okay, friends. I've got my oven preheating to 325. Now, the recipe calls for 350, but I can't put them in at 350 because it tends to burn the bottoms. These are going to go in 325 when this is preheated for an hour, and I'll see you when those are done. Okay, friends, our bread has risen. And it's time to put our loaves of bread and our monkey bread together. Look at that. All right. I'm just going to get this into a ball so I can divide it into 4 pieces. Okay, so now I'm just gonna shape these into loaves for our pans. All my pans are sprayed. I'm gonna make sure all your pans are sprayed. Okay, there goes one loaf. There's two. Now we're going to cut this in half because I only need one loaf for the monkey bread. Okay. And this will be our third. I don't want to go that way. I want to go this way. All right, these are going to set right up here. But I am going to cover them up when I get this done too. Okay, so here we go. We're going to take these, well, before I put that bowl over there, I'll cut these all up in little bitty balls. And you just roll them in balls. I don't do this when I do my pull-apart bread. I just put it in chunks and throw it in the bowl. But you want balls. Okay. Because it'll stay that way. We're going to put them in there. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix my brown sugar and my cinnamon all in my butter. And I got a stick of butter in here, so I'm going to do about 3/4 cup of brown sugar. And I'm going to give this a good tablespoon of cinnamon. And we'll start with that. And I will put the recipe in the description box. But it really is almost like personal preference. You some people might like less sugar than cinnamon, and I don't know, it just all depends. All right, so you get dirty, and that's all right. Put all that in there. And I put the excess in my pan. Okay? Don't be afraid to get in there, get them all coated. And they stay in the little balls. They're nice. Okay. We're just going to start laying them in there. Spread them out so that they're even all around. Okay. All right, so now we're not going to waste any of this. We're going to drizzle this all around. Okay. Beautiful. Let me wash my hands. Okay, friends, these are going to have to rise a little bit. My Our quick breads are still in the oven. They're not quite done yet. These are gonna rise for about another 30 minutes and then we'll be able to get those in the oven. So they're gonna sit right here on the counter and get happy. Okay friends, the quick bread is done. Wait till you see all this when it's all done. We're gonna put this there we go. These are gonna bake at 350 for 30 minutes. So I will see you back here, friends, when all this is done. That's the last of it. Well, there we have it, friends. We've got our beautiful rolls. These aren't quite brown like I usually make them because I'm gonna pop them back in the oven Thanksgiving morning and finish browning them up so they're nice and warm. Our monkey bread, it smells wonderful. I'm surprised Mr. isn't in here trying to get into it. We got our 3 loaves of Amish white bread, which is going to be wonderful too for somebody who'd rather have the bread than a roll at Thanksgiving. And I've got my gorgeous and delicious pumpkin bread and my cranberry bread. So there you have it, friends. This is a wonderful addition to my bread table at my Thanksgiving dinner. I will put all these recipes in my description box under my video. You all have a wonderful day, friends. Thanks for hanging out with me in the kitchen. I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, thanks for watching.